When Joshua was near Jericho, he saw a man standing in front of him with a drawn sword in his hand. Joshua asked, "Are you for us or for our enemies?" "No," he replied, "but as commander of the army of the Lord, I have now come." Joshua fell face down on the ground in reverence and asked him, "What message does my Lord have for his servant?" The commander of the Lord's army replied, "Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy." Joshua did so. The Lord said to Joshua, "I am putting into your hands Jericho, with its king and all its brave soldiers. March around the city once with all the armed men. Do this for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry trumpets of ram's horns in front of the ark. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times, with the priests blowing the trumpets. When you hear them sound a long blast on the trumpets, have the whole army give a loud shout, and the walls of the city will collapse, and the army will go up, everybody straight in." The city and everything in it was to be devoted to the Lord. The soldiers were told to keep away from the devoted things, silver, gold, and the articles of bronze and iron. These were sacred to the Lord, and anyone who took these things would make the camp of Israel liable to destruction. Joshua told the priests, "Take up the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and have 7 priests carry trumpets in front of it." Then he ordered the army, "Advance, march around the city with an armed guard going ahead of the ark of the Lord." The 7 priests carrying the 7 trumpets before the Lord went forward, blowing their trumpets, and the ark of the Lord's covenant followed them. The armed guard marched ahead of the priests, who blew the trumpets, and the rear guard followed the ark. The ark of the Lord was carried around the city, circling it once. They did this for 6 days. On the 7th day, they got up at daybreak and marched around the city 7 times in the same manner. The 7th time around, when the priests sounded the trumpet blast, Joshua commanded the army, "Shout, for the Lord has given you the city." When the trumpets sounded, the army shouted, and the wall collapsed. So everyone charged in, and they took the city. The 2 spies went to Rahab's house and saved her entire family and put them in a place outside the camp of Israel. And the prostitute from the doomed pagan city became the Bible's most unlikely heroine. The soldiers devoted the city to the Lord and destroyed with the sword every living thing in it. They burned Jericho down, but put the silver and gold and the articles of bronze and iron into a treasury of the Lord's house. Joshua said, "Cursed before the Lord is the one who undertakes to rebuild this city. At the cost of his firstborn son, he will lay its foundations. At the cost of his youngest, he will set up its gates." So the Lord was with Joshua, and his fame spread throughout the land. Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which was about 10 miles to the northwest. He told them, "Go up and spy out the region." When they returned, they told Joshua, "Not all the army will have to go up against the city. Send 2,000 or 3,000 men to take it, and do not weary the whole army, for only a few people live there." So about 3,000 men went up, but they were chased away by the men of Ai, who killed about 36 of them. They chased the Israelites and struck them down on the slopes. At this, the hearts of the people melted into fear and became like water. Joshua tore his clothes and fell face down on the ground before the ark of the Lord, remaining there until evening. The elders of Israel did the same and sprinkled dust on their heads, an act to illustrate the remorse over their sins. Joshua said to the Lord, "Alas, sovereign Lord, why did you ever bring this people across the Jordan? To deliver us into the hands of our enemy to destroy us? If only we had been content to stay on the other side of the Jordan. Pardon your servant, Lord. What can I say now that Israel has been routed by its enemies? The Canaanites and the other people of the country will hear about this, and they will surround us and wipe out our name from the earth. What then will you do for your own great name?" The Lord said to Joshua, "Stand up. What are you doing down on your face? Israel has sinned. They have violated my covenant, which I commanded them to keep. They have taken some of the devoted things. They have stolen. They have lied. They have put them with their own possessions. That is why Israel cannot stand against their enemies. They turn their backs and run because they have been made liable to destruction. Go consecrate the people. Tell them, 'Consecrate yourselves in preparation for tomorrow. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. There are devoted things among you, Israel. You cannot stand against your enemies until you remove them. In the morning, present yourselves tribe by tribe. The tribe the Lord chooses shall come forward clan by clan. The clan the Lord chooses shall come forward family by family. And the family the Lord chooses shall come forward man by man. Whoever is caught with the devoted things shall be destroyed by fire, along with all that belongs to him. He has violated the covenant of the Lord and has done an outrageous thing to Israel." Early the next morning, Joshua had Israel come forward by tribes, and Judah was chosen. Then the clans and families came forward, which led to the choosing of a man named Achan. Joshua said to him, "My son, give glory to the Lord, the God of Israel, and honor him. Tell me what you have done. Do not hide it from me." Achan replied, "It is true. I have sinned against the Lord, the God of Israel. This is what I have done. When I saw in the plunder a beautiful robe from Babylonia, 200 shekels of silver, and a bar of gold weighing 50 shekels, I coveted them, and I took them. They are hidden in the ground inside my tent, with the silver underneath." They took the things from the tent and brought them to Joshua. "Why have you brought this trouble on us?" Joshua asked Achan. "The Lord will bring trouble on you today." Achan and his family were stoned to death by the people of Israel. They burned them, and over Achan they heaped a large pile of rocks. Then the Lord turned from his fierce anger. Roughly 500 years later, during the reign of King Ahab, a native of Bethel named Hiel rebuilt Jericho. Laying the foundations cost him the life of his firstborn son, and setting up its gates cost him the life of his youngest.